the central axis.
It's like squeezing, it's breathing.
Yeah.
我哋而家嚟到 Berlin， 亦都真係 MBL 嘅廠啊！
今次嚟就真係可以話係帶大家嚟朝聖，係啦，因為最近富豪音響展即係得到一個好大嘅迴響，咁喺 Vienna 嘅展房咧，亦都做到一個非常之靚聲嘅效果。咁所以咧，今次就帶大家嚟睇下呢個咁靚聲嘅喇叭係點樣做出嚟嘅。係
啦，同埋佢哋應該係1979年開始咧，就一路都喺呢度嘅。咁跟住今年都有啲 upgrade 啦，跟住啲機，所以我哋都可以直接咁樣俾大家睇到佢哋實質係 upgrade 咗啲乜。我陣間諗住直接去問下啲工程師，佢哋其實係搞緊啲乜，諗緊啲乜，有啲咩新嘢可以期待下咁樣。係咯，咁相信大家都好期待個畫面。係啊，正嘅，入邊係好正。Let's go！
50 people working for MBL, and the Minecraft shift comes from nearby, from this area, and we hope we can more employees, that we can fix our product faster. This is one of our most goals, that we have better production capability to get more items out in a shorter time. The other hand is quality ahead. Means time frame cannot be the master. Quality must be the master for MBL products. This is very important for us.
So what we're having here is, first of all, a sample of the melon or Radialstrahler assembly as it would go on top of a 101 or 101 Extreme. So the low mid-frequency driver, mid-frequency driver, and tweeter on the top. And this is a previous iteration of the melon, which gives you a very good idea of how it actually does work. It is arranged around this central axis. It's fixed at the top, and at the bottom you do have the voice coil. And when there's current running through the voice coil, it moves like that and basically presses out or compresses the melon and elongates the melon if it's moving the other way. And that is how sound is being produced with our Radialstrahler. See, if I press down, how it's getting wider, and if I stop pressing down, it's getting narrower again, and so it's moving like that. And these two, they're sitting here to give you an idea of what they are looking on the inside. How they're produced, we are going to see downstairs in the loudspeaker manufacturing area. But as you can see, it's all individual petals of aluminum. They're bent to the perfect shape. There's dampening material being glued to them on the inside, plus additional dampening material being brought into the melon before it's getting closed off by fixing the spider and the voice coil. So it's actually a dedicated task for a worker downstairs to put just the right amount of dampening material into the melon, not too little, not too much, to make it sound just right. And the same is true for the mid-range driver. You can see as well, there's some dampening material here on the inside. We have the voice coil here, the carbon fiber petals, and it's all fixed on the top. So again, it's working like that basically. And obviously the connection, which is eventually going down to the frequency crossover. Here we are in the section where we produce our loudspeakers, particularly in the section where we produce our melon or signature Radialstrahler assembly. What we have here is material that the petals for the melon are being made of. We'll be going through the whole process, how they're actually being turned into a speaker assembly. This is actually going through all the stages of that piece, how it's to be actually turned into a functioning speaker. So first, it's a flat piece of aluminum. We're cutting those ourselves. They're getting laser cut. Secondly, they're being run through a machine which is sitting right there that is slightly folding it, giving it a little bit more rigidity. As a third step, we do glue bitumen, which is kind of a tar on the inside, giving it a little bit more weight and making it less resonant. Then some additional damping is being glued on top of that. You see the guy behind us doing that as we speak. That is just mass producing that step here. In the next step, we add some copper wiring on the outside, again adding a little bit of rigidity and also tuning it acoustically to sound just right. And finally, the rubber beading is being added in between the individual pedals to seal it and not have any air escape from the inside to the outside. Everything again being arranged around the central axis, and voice coil is sitting on top, or at the bottom actually. That is the way it's supposed to sit around, and the top being fixed up here.
It should be assembled by bare hand, right?
That's all hand. It's all handmade process. There's no machine being involved. I mean, there's obviously the machine for doing the folding. We do have the aluminum sheets. We have a external supplier that is doing the laser cutting for us, produce that shape. Everything else is literally manual labor that we're doing here on our manufacturing. And also what we do is, I think that's kind of important, once the tweeters and mid-range drivers are being ready, they end up on this shelf and they're being individually tested and paired to be matching pairs that sound as identical as possible, so that you don't have any deviation in between your left and your right speaker. Then finally, one of the last steps before the speaker goes through the final quality control is we are doing a tuning for the frequency crossover for each individual speaker to have the perfect frequency response of the speaker matching to the tweeters and the drivers that are being used inside of that particular pair of speakers, making sure that each individual MBL speaker does have the exact same frequency response and sound signature. So let's go have a look at what Mr. Schäfer is doing. Now is he centers the melon around the central axis, making sure that the voice coil does not rub against the magnet and there's no harmonic distortions being produced by the driver itself. So what you just heard is a test of the frequency response and making sure that there's no distortions or any other noise being produced by the driver well beyond by the actual frequency range that the driver is actually running at in a real life or real world speaker. These copper clips are being put into place, holding it perfectly still in the center around the central axis. So what you can hear now, it's not yet fixed around the central axis and it's making this slightly distorted noise. Mm-hmm. So the next step is the centering and then final checking.
Oh, it's like squeezing, it's breathing.
Yeah. And once it's perfectly centered, it's getting clamped down with these copper brackets. So now it's perfectly centered. Now it just slipped out of it again. I think we should leave him to it.
Okay.
Not making him nervous. I mean, just think of the whole process, like putting the weights on the rim of your wheel on the car so that it's not wobbling. That's kind of what we're doing here, making sure it's perfectly aligned. There's no wobbling, no noise, no distortion being produced.
So it's a calibration process.
It's a calibration process, exactly. Calibration and quality control before it's even getting put into a speaker. Okay, and this is where loudspeaker production ends. Actually, when we first moved into this factory, this is where the building ended. And all of that is an extension that we've built ourselves, and also the warehouse did get built subsequently. So over time, we've grown quite a bit. And quality control, so anything before it's going out is getting tested here.
98. Yeah? So they got this kind of material, got to the machine, and afterwards cut them by ourselves, and then they are going to the milling machine, latter machine, sorry. Yeah?
And show.
刚刚从那个回来。
There's a couple of 116 speakers that are being ready to be shipped out. Department that we've just been in would end up here once it's produced. And that is before they're getting painted. So usually they can come in white or black piano lacquer.